Hi friends, today is Monday, September 25th. I am Amy Pagan and this is Amy Pagan Art. A free art lesson every Monday at noon on both Facebook and YouTube at Amy Pagan Art. Okay, so usually my classes are live. Today my throat feels not great, so I just drank a lot of tea with some honey. And I decided to pre-record today to see if I could get through this without coughing at y'all. And, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna have to cough in a second. But regardless, we're gonna make some adorable candy corn. Now, some of you may be wondering, Amy, it's September, which is not Halloween. But those of you who know me know, you know, it's spooky season. It's spooky season as long as I can possibly make it spooky season. So this is what we're gonna do today. All right, so what you're going to want to have is a piece of paper. I am using Canson cold press 140-pound watercolor paper. You do not have to use that. You just use whatever you want. That's just what I've got. Now I have taken my paper and I have cut it to be a 4x6, which is a perfect size for a postcard. So if you wanted to after class today, you could put a name and address and a little stamp and send this off to a friend. So you can use whatever paper you want. If you're using paints, try to use a heavier paper so that you know, your paper doesn't all buckle up. You can use colored pencils today. You can use crayons. You can use watercolors. You can use acrylics. You just use whatever you want. Particularly with this project, it really lends itself to a whole bunch of different mediums. So I'm going to demonstrate in both watercolor and colored pencil, and we'll have fun. Okay, so before we get started, I need to remind y'all why we're here. Why are we here, y'all? Y'all know it. It's to have fun. This particularly is a really peaceful and relaxing project, kind of meditative if you want it to be. So just keep in mind that you're here to have a good time and do some art. This is just your relaxing start to the week. Please do not beat yourself up or, you know, look at one little piece of candy corn and go, oh, that one's not perfect. It doesn't matter, y'all. This isn't supposed to be perfect. It's just supposed to be fun. Okay, so if you promise me that you would have a good time, please, and be kind to yourself, give me a heart or a thumbs up. And, you know, if you like this class, go ahead and like and share it. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna push this guy over to the side and I'm gonna grab my paper. By the way, if you would please say hello in the comments, I would really appreciate it. And that way I know who is here. Also, those of you who are joining us for the first time, we love to share jokes here. So if you have any candy corn or candy related jokes, you just go ahead. I wanna hear them. You can put them in the comments. I might not get to it right away, but I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Sorry, I saw a little bend in my paper. I'm gonna fix it. Okay, so, anywho, here we go. All right, so here's our little candy corn example. I have a number 2 pencil and I'm gonna show y'all some examples and about how to draw these out, and then we'll just get going. Okay, so when I make my pencil marks, I'm always going to make them darker than I want you to make them, and that's so that you can see them on the other side of the internet. I want you to make your pencil marks as light as possible so it doesn't interfere with your painting. Okay, so let's look at how big these little candy corns are. And they are basically the size of a thumbprint. And every single one of them is a triangle. Now they're not a hard, sharp triangle with rough edges or with sharp edges. They're rounded. All those edges are rounded. So that's what we're aiming for, about the size of your fingerprint. And it does not matter which way your little candy corn is facing. I'm going to do one facing straight up and down, just to start off with. So just a little fingerprint size rounded triangle. And you're just going to fill your page with these. You're going to want some facing up, some facing down, sideways. However, I just want you to think like maybe you turned your little Halloween bucket over so you can count and sort your candy. If you did that, I don't know if y'all did that. I always did that. That's the fun part, right? When you come, well, there's so many fun parts about Halloween, but when you come back from trick-or-treating And usually there's some Halloween movie on TV. And you sit down with your brothers and sisters or friends and dump out your candy and sort it out and see what you got, and hopefully you got some good stuff. I know a lot of people don't like candy corn. Shout out to my friend Jen, who left me a little note on Instagram this morning to tell me how much she likes candy corn, even though a lot of people make fun of it. Lewis Black, the stand-up comedian, has a hilarious bit about candy corn that my husband and I quote to each other all the time. I'm not going to quote it to y'all because it's never as funny to have people repeating comics jokes, but highly recommend you look it up. It's pretty funny. My favorite was always the chocolates. And I never even heard about people getting full-size chocolate bars when I was little, but there's some neighborhoods around here that give out full-size chocolate bars and candy bars. I think that's pretty awesome. Not that you need them. Honestly, since I only have one child, she doesn't have to worry about anybody, you know, like going through her bucket and taking her candy, or like fending off siblings. Or when I was growing up, fending off my mom, who would go through our candy in the middle of the night. Not really. Sorry, Mom. Sorry if you're listening. I knew it was you. But yeah, so we always end up with a ton of extra candy. Our Halloween candy hangs around for years and years. Okay, you can do as many as you want. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting in some color. You don't have to. And remember, since this is pre-recorded, you can always pause it, rewind it, whatever you need to do to catch up, or if you just want to see something again. Also, if you have any questions, please put those in the comments. Again, since this one's not live, I might not get to it immediately, but I will be keeping my eye out for it in between coughing. Speaking of, hold on, give me a second. Oh, all right, okay. All right, so these are my two favorite brushes, and this is not an advertising moment for me. They are not giving me any money. I just wanted to show you my two favorites that I like to use. These are both made by a company called Princeton. This one's the Select series. This is the Heritage series. This is a number 6 round, and this is, what are you? You're a number 3. So as the numbers get smaller, the bristles get smaller. So as you can see, 6 and 3. I'm gonna use my 3 today. You can also use your 6. Maybe I'll do both so we can see the difference. My art paints today are made by Art Philosophy. These are little watercolor palettes, really inexpensive and fun, easy to use. So I'm gonna use those, and then I have some, what do I have around here? I have some Crayola pencils, little Crayola watercolor pencils, so I'll use those too and show you the differences. Okay, so again, I want your lines to be as light as possible. If you've made your lines a little dark, you can just gently take an eraser to them. This is one of my favorite erasers, Faber-Castell, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's opened. This one I have been using for a while, so it looks pretty grimy, but I love it. It's just little squishy. There's a real, kneadable art erasers. That's what the actual name is. But if you've made your pencil lines a little dark, the lovely thing about these kinds of erasers is that they don't tear up your paper. You just kind of pat them on there. And see how it made that line a lot lighter? So I'm just gonna do this with a few of them. The difference being, if you take, regular pencil eraser, what you have to do is like scritch back and forth, and that actually tears up your paper a little bit. Not a lot. I know everybody's probably done the thing where you erase it so hard you rip your paper. You're probably not gonna do that on watercolor paper, but watercolor paper does have these nice little bumps and grooves that help it to catch the water. So if you're using your eraser back and forth and kind of tearing up the paper, even on a little bit, it takes away some of those lovely bumps and grooves that will hold the paint for you. Okay, that's good enough. So let's see, I'm gonna start with my number 3. Ta-da. I'm just gonna take a little bit of water. I'm gonna swish it in the water. You can see I've already been painting this morning. My water is not normally this color. And the first color that I'm going to grab is orange. The clicking, sniffing noises you hear are not me. That's actually my dog. One of my dogs. She just came to say hi. Okay, so what I'm going to do, candy corn, they are three-dimensional objects, right? They're not flat like our paper. So we want to think about where they would be curved. So you kind of want to put your paint lines in a curve. Do you see how that's kind of curved? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of a curve. I'm imagining this is the side, and then it's going to look fatter here as I go across the top. So you can see my shape is like skinny, fatter, and a little curve. The next thing I'm going to do is just outline the whole thing really thin with some orange. Then I'm going to leave that and I'm going to move to the next one. We will come back and add other colors and some shading. I'm just going to do another one here. Okay, here's my fat line on top. You can see it's kind of skinnier on this edge where it's going to go over. And then it kind of bends, flat line. Can you see how it's almost like a letter J? Fat, and then it gets thinner as it curves. I'm just going to very thinly, see that thin line outlining. We'll do one more with this paintbrush and then I'll use the bigger brush. Okay, so outline, kind of went backwards there, didn't I? Fat on top, curved on the side. We'll do one more since I did that one kind of backwards without giving y'all notice. All right, ready? So we're going to fat on top. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't drag my paintbrush along the edge of the water cup, so it got really watery. And that's okay. All right, so now I am gonna make sure that I don't get paint everywhere. I'm just gonna use this to outline a little candy corn. And so on and so forth. Okay, so let me do some outlining with my bigger brush, my number 6, rinsing it off in the water, dragging it on the side of the cup so that I don't have any drips here on the ferrule of my brush. Just right there on the tip of my brush, I have a little bit of pigment. Here we go, there's the fat part on top. Curvy line, so it's a little back, it's like a letter J. And I'm gonna real carefully come along the edge and outline. It's the same thing. Fat on top. Kind of curvy as it goes along the side. And then, you know what, I didn't specify to you guys where exactly this orange line is. It's basically the middle. So just go straight across the middle of your candy corn. And I know it looks like we've left a lot of white space. I don't want you to worry about that. We will be coming back and putting more in. Outline. And let's see what happens when I grab my pencil. Okay. Red orange, this will be fun. Okay, so this is my red orange Crayola watercolor pencil. It doesn't have to be a watercolor pencil. It's just, that's what I've got. Okay, so fat line, and then outline. This one's a little more red, isn't it? It's a little more red than orange, and that's okay. We like some variation in color. Let's see what else I might have. Got some teeny tiny ones. Got my little travel pencils. We're just gonna use all kinds of stuff today. My little orange travel pencil, outline, skinny line, outline, fat line, and then it curves, and then we do our little skinny line. Okay, now before we go any further, let's go ahead and we'll complete a few of these. I'm gonna grab my paintbrush, I'm gonna rinse it in the water, drag it along the side, and then this time, I'm gonna grab a little yellow. Okay, so the way that candy corn works is yellow on the top fat part, then orange, and then white. So let's come right here, yellow on the top, yellow on the top, and we're just going to fill that yellow in. Now for some of them, if it's a little wet, that yellow and orange might bleed together, and I don't want you to worry about that. It's fine. Let's see, let me do a few with the bigger brush with my number 6. This one's definitely wet, so it will bleed. I'll go ahead and do it so you can see. Look at that. It's not the end of the world. No big deal. Do you have any more? This guy right here. I think this guy is paint too. Okay, let's do the same thing with our colored pencils. Yada, yada, yada. Put my yellow in, and yellow here, and yellow there. Am I missing anybody? Yep. Oh, and here's a trick we're going to do since this one is a little more red. Let's color some yellow over it. See if we can't turn it more orange. We can, look at that. See the difference in the two? I'll bring it a little closer so you can see. Pretty neat, huh? Nice thing about colored pencils is that blending. Same thing with crayons, blending with crayons. So lovely. Okay. So a little bit more detail. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rinse off my paintbrush. Now it just has water on it. I'm gonna come along here. I want you to notice where you put the side. So we had our big fat part, right? And then we had our little side stripe. Just take a wet paintbrush and come along that side. I didn't use any paint. I just went over what I already had there, and see how it gave it a nice little shadow? So that's what we're going for. So find your skinnier side that you did the bottom of your letter J and just pet it a little bit with some water. You don't want to have your brush dripping, you just want to have it damp. Okay, so see, no big drippies on this brush, it's just slightly damp. And I'm just using the pigment that's already on the page to create a little shadow. This one was more wet, had more pigment, so the shadow is going to be darker, and that's okay. Okay, let's see, what do I have? So for my, oh, I didn't do it with that one. I'll grab him. Bloop. Am I missing anybody else? Just the colored pencils. Okay, so now I'm going to come with my orange colored pencil. Same thing. I'm just going to do a little bit of light shading on the side. They almost look like little alien pizzas, don't they? Okay, so that's what it is if I'm using colored pencil or paint. Let's go ahead and just keep filling them in. Those of you who enjoy sharing jokes or factoids, or just want to tell me about your weekend or your Halloween plans or your whatever plans, I want to hear about it. Go ahead and put it in the comments. I will get to them as soon as I am done doing whatever it is I'm doing, probably coughing. And I do like it when y'all share those with me, so thank you. Also, when you're done today, if you'll take a picture and either put it in the comments for this video, or you can DM them to me. I would love to see. It helps me out a lot when y'all do that. Helps me see how I am doing as a teacher. And then also you can always let me know what you want to do for future classes. I am here to listen. I love helping you guys create the things you want to create. I love your happy stories. So yeah, so share them with me. And apparently my dog thinks I'm talking to her right now. She's trying to answer. I don't know if you can hear that. Yes, hi Ellie, hi. She always gets confused. She doesn't understand that you guys are out there. So I think she thinks we're having a conversation. My cat too. oh, one of my cats. The orange cat. The orange cat gets very confused when I'm having phone calls or when I am recording videos. She finds it very confusing, and she comes and talks at me. And then sometimes if I'm singing, she'll hit me. You know, not horribly, not so I'm disfigured, but she'll give me a little smack as if to say, quiet, little kitten. I am not her kitten. She seems confused about that, but oops, I forgot to outline that one. I'll get it done. Let's see. All right, I need a little orange. Y'all let me know. Oh, here's another cat. Y'all let me know what supplies you're using and if there's something different you want me to demonstrate with. Because the answer is yes, I will do that. With the exception of oil paint. We could do oil pastels, but oil paint is just not my specialty, and I would not feel right giving y'all instructions on that. Although I have friends that do oil painting, so maybe I can get one of them to come on and we could do a little oil lesson at some point. Also, I think I told y'all, but I've been making all these little miniatures. So if you ever want me to do one of my miniatures, I can do a little reel for that so you can see those. And I just use, for those I just use air dry clay. And what else do I use? An acrylic paint and Mod Podge to seal it all. It's really fun. I can definitely show y'all that if you're interested. The majority of my videos and photos of that kind of stuff I keep on my Instagram. So that's Amy Pagan Art on Instagram. I apologize if I'm kind of quiet today or hard to hear. I am trying. I'm doing my best, y'all. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is what I want you to do as well is sign your name. Because whatever you created today is your art, not my art. I was just here to kind of show you how to do some stuff. I didn't do it for you, you did it. It's your art. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, would you please like and share it? I would really appreciate that. Please feel free to DM me with any requests or comments. Please feel free to share your jokes in the comment section. And what else? Oh yeah. Have a fantastic, lovely rest of your Monday. Have a great, great week. I always appreciate you guys. I love painting and creating with you all. I hope you enjoy creating with me as well. I'll see you right back here next Monday at noon at Amy Pagan Art on YouTube and Facebook. Y'all take care. Bye.